Gentlemen, non-binary as another identities, it is here! Day 2 of this 8th Starsector fleet building tournament is upon us. And I don't know about you, but I am not interested in any formalities or any such drama before we get into this. So let's jump right into our first match of the day. We have Hrothgar Heavenlight and Neptix against Lightning JC and PB. Wait. Yes, that is the first match. I had to double check. I've been cycling through these for a little bit, taking inventory on people's fleets. All right, so with Hrothgar Heavenlight, we will burn them with unholy fire. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 of these Farfarkugel bruiser classes. Hypervelocity drivers, heavy maulers, integrated targeting units, lots of vents, and some Vulcans. These are functionally brawlers, but a little bit better. Then we have, oh god, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 of these My Little Piranha Razorbacks. These things have expanded missile racks, makeshift shields, integrated targeting units, a railgun, light dual machine gun, and a harpoon plus Sabopod. 2 of these essentially makes 1 Falcon P. It's not hard to see what he's doing here. Then we have the Imperial Forge. Our first Interstellar Imperium fleet of the day. We have this Anvil Matriarch, no packages, shame for that, but a battery of sledge guns, Locust, Infernos, Heavy Needlers, PD lasers, and ER particle cannons, with some Flamen interceptors, Draconarius fighters, and an expanded deck crew to keep those fighters in the action. Then we have 4 of these Tongs Basilius classes. They have 3 harpoons, a Sabopod, a light needler, ECCM package, hardened shields, and of course the built-in expanded missile racks. Then we have another 4 Hammer Basiliuses. Same deal with the hull mods, but they mount an Inferno, Ion Torpedo Rack, Harpoon, Sabop, and ER Particle Cannon. Next up against them, we have Lightning JC with the Sindrian Crustacean Conglomerate, and PB with Lobster Ship Down. JC has brought, oh my god, these things. We have just look at the other variant, this one is just a different but better ship, Garyons. Is basically a Falcon P, but probably worse, using mini missiles to beat the enemy. Also a PD fighter wing, Garyon. Uses Stygares to cause the enemy to reconsider existence with the MRM to back up shield damage, and the Arc to disable weapon mounts, Argus. And uses Gravitic Hook to mitigate the downsides of SO, along with questionably good shield efficiency Whirlwinds. Adds flux to enemies, because Lamau, 8 DP large ballistic destroyer. And fills up the remaining DP because it's cheap pest. So, let's take a look at the first Argus. 2 harpoon pods, expanded missile racks, converted hangar for an Eris, and a Sabopod. The other one has 2 Sabos and a harpoon pod. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the double harpoons, and 3 of the double Sabos. The Argus has a pair of hacking comm links, an interception gun, an arc missile rack, and a pair of Stygares with expanded deck crews. The Whirlwinds have a plasma cannon, a heavy blaster, a kaleidoscope, interestingly, safety overrides, hardened subsystems, and hardened shields. The Bully has a Mark 9 autocannon, a pair of railguns, a quartet of Vulcans, and a Salamander with resistant flux conduits. This pest is truly a pest, with an ion cannon, heavy machine gun, safety overrides, and 1 unallocated ordnance point. Now, players can submit descriptions for their fleets, so let me check and see if anybody has done so. Any of these players have done so. Let's see. JC is number 1. I don't think he has one. Nope. I do have to cross-reference the the spreadsheet to see if these guys have submitted anything. There's PB 31. Nope. And against them, Rothgar and Neptix, 21 and 30 respectively. So no, we can just get right into this. All right. So, battle lines are drawn. Wait, what? Resetti? I mean, I didn't change anything. In case I touch the variance at all. Alright. Okay. Okay. You know, that's completely fair. We'll reset everything and we'll run this again. From the other side. Now we've got an element of chaos that you guys have forced me to introduce here. We've changed sides and reset. So, the Matriarch, unsurprisingly, is lagging behind a little bit. These Razorbacks are also lagging behind a little bit. Hold on. I'm trying to remember what the controls are. There's the free cam. Okay, this is not the free cam I thought it was. The stream quality, yes. Hold on. Let me bring up my preview to make sure. Gosh. I don't know why I can't get the free look to work here, but we'll make do. Alright, so the Heiresses are moving in, putting some pressure on these brawlers. One of the Garyons moving up, looking to pressure that flank. One of the Bruisers about to overload. But here comes the Matriarch's fighters, absolutely eviscerating all of those Heiresses. They do not stand a chance. Bruiser very brave up here. Pest being a pest. The Razorbacks have annihilated one of the Garyons. It got a little bit brave and paid the price. Another Garyon about to go down. The Whirlwind's pushing up. That Bruiser is still alive. Not sure how, but a lot of harpoons coming out from those Razorbacks. They smell blood in the water. So many Razorbacks going down. Bruisers going down. Garyons just all over the place, getting surrounded and torn to pieces by all these missiles. Whirlwind claims a victim. Okay, and with all that violence behind us a little bit, it's quieting down just a smidge. This Whirlwind still engaged with a bunch of Razorbacks and Bruisers. Another Whirlwind coming in, looking for a fight, getting pelted with sabos for it. The third Whirlwind also looking for a fight, not getting pelted with as many sabos, but not going as hard. Second Whirlwind forced back, as is the first. First one about to overload. Garyon coming in to try and save it. Third Whirlwind making good progress, tearing apart one of the Basiliuses, but it's not finishing the job. It has showed mercy and it will pay the price, I guarantee it. The Razorbacks and the Bruisers have formed a bit of a Death Star under the coverage of the Matriarch, continuing to put down pressure on all these ships. But the Whirlwinds just have too much shielding. They continue to press in and punish frigates every time they do. This, oh my god, this Whirlwind has no hull left. There's another Whirlwind far off on the flank, trying to use a gravitic hook. Oh my god! The plays with that hook. Did not know they reached that far. One of the Garyons has gone down. Basilius down. Bruiser down. Another Bruiser down. This Garyon is about to pop, but there are two Whirlwinds helping it out. One of the Razorbacks has overloaded. Oh my god, the Garyon is gone. This Whirlwind has that Basilius all to itself. Misses with the gravitic hook somehow. Another Whirlwind about to go. Whirlwind is down. Where is that other Whirlwind? It is also down, I see. Basilius down. Just so many frigates dying, but it doesn't matter. They have too many numbers. They are dragging the Whirlwinds down with sheer attrition. And these Stygairs just aren't able to do anything because of the Matriarch, which has still not done anything beyond project force. The Bully goes down, which I don't think anybody really expected much of the Bruiser, but it's a blow all the same. With so few ships left on the field, one of the Garyons getting very bold, saturated with sabos for it. And here come the fighters. It's gone. Wait, the stream is blurry? I'll deal with that in a moment here. $720p. Alright. Back to the casting. Whirlwind, very overextended. Its engines are out. It is dead in the water. Unable to do anything. Engines are back. It's trying to pull back. Doesn't look like it's going to go well, though. Here come the fighters. And, oh, that's a dead Whirlwind. The Argus is also dead in the water. It's just cleanup now. One last Garyon. The Stygair makes a brave last stand and gets saboed for it. And that is it. We will burn them with unholy fire, and the Imperial Forge have won. Quite a toll they paid for that victory, but with so many ships, I don't think it really matters. So, round 2 goes to Hrothgar Heavenlight and Neptix. Anyways, let me check that quality. I know we are downscaling a bit. Yeah, we are downscaling to 720p, simply because, oh boy. Tell you what, to save some resources, I'm going to turn off the recording. Twitch will record the VOD anyways, so I can grab it from them. Hopefully this will improve things a little bit. Now, for round 2, well, we are in round 2. For the second match of the day, we have Dancy and Knight of Tigers versus Solinarius and the Wikifish. Dancy with the Science Slap and Knight of Tigers with absolutely not the same fleet as before, I swear. And Solinarius with the Der Puppers and Wikifish with the Thumb Wrestling Federation. Let me check and see if they've submitted anything. Let's see, Dancy is 15. No. Knight of Tigers is 19. He has submitted something. Basically, support with carriers and help on the front line with some destroyers. Straightforward. I appreciate it. Solinarius and Wikifish is 22. And where is Solinarius? 16. 16. This pack of doges sport a much unusual but dazzling blue-tinted coats and such electric charisma. Woof woof. And then we have...
Surge, check your NOTIFS.
Notifications. What do you mean? Please check my notifications. Where? $156. Oh! You're right, the DP is wrong. Okay. Alright. Skip that match? I'll see... What do you say, Thago? Should we just skip this match and see if Wiki can fix it? Is DP wrong or the fleet wrong? I don't know. This was the fleet that Wikifish submitted just a few hours ago. Skip it? Alright. So that moves us on to match number 3. Astraltor and Blowthorn versus Comes and Minhir. Let me go ahead and do the obligatory checking to see if they have submitted anything. Astraltor is number 12. It's a no. Blowthorn is 23. No. Where's Comes? 35 and 36. That's easy. Nope. Okay, we can jump right into this. Let it be fixed and done at a later time? Yeah, we'll deal with that at a later time. So, we have Astraltor and Blowthorn with ASTR and the Great Wall. So, for ASTR, we have the Tac Laser Grid Suck Sebastos with a Scutum Wing, a Tac Laser Grid, very hypocritical name that, Hardened Shields for 0.6 shield flux per damage, delicious that, and a ITU for more range. It also has a pair of Sabo Pods for cracking shields. We have 2 of these, then we have 3 Ballistas Underpowered Princeps class with a Draconarius and Vicarius each. They have Sabo Racks and Sabo Pods with expanded missile racks, as well as a Sledge Gun, Tactical Laser, and Flak Cannon. Then we have a pair of Buff II Please Praetorian classes, each with a Hypervelocity Driver, 3 Tac Lasers, my bad, a Custos Defender, a Sagittarius Autogun, and 2 Reaper class torpedoes with ITU and Hardened Shields. We have 2 light machine. Sorry, I haven't even said what these are. These are Strike Tianshui class carriers for the Great Wall. Each has a pair of Dadao assault bomber wings with a hypervelocity driver, muscle LRM, and 2 light machine guns. We have 3 of these, a standard Wuzhang class siege cruiser. It has a dedicated targeting core, which is of course built in, meaning it doesn't quite get that delicious ITU. It has 2 light dual machine guns and a burst PD laser to keep missiles away. We have 2 line Shurin class cruisers. They have a converted hangar for a Yilling wing. Very interesting. 2 graviton beams, 2 Vulcans, 2 PD lasers, an ultra autocannon, a heavy mauler, and 2 concussion missile pods. Up against them, we have Comes and Minhir with I Stand with Tiangdong. Wait, no, that is the right fleet. Oh, right, I forgot. There's a Tiandong mirror match today. Dong on Dong action. So, we have the standard Zoo with a Devastator cannon, a Mark 9 autocannon in the frontal hardpoints, 4 Mauler batteries, 2 on each broadside, 2 hypervelocity drivers, 1 on each side, an ultra autocannon in the middle, 4 burst PD lasers, 2 Reliant MGs, 2 flat cannons, 4 Vulcans, and 2 Swarmers, with an ITU and gunnery control. Oh boy, that is a lot of firepower. We have a Devastator Hanzhong class with ITU, 2 Devastators, a heavy autocannon, and a pair of Vulcans. Oversized turret mounts will reduce the turn rate of those Devastators. They may not be as good as we're hoping, but I don't suspect they're going to be all that in demand. We have 1, 2, 3 standard Hujing class destroyers. These have an ITU, a converted hangar for Yilling interceptors. We're seeing a lot of Yillings today, I'm noticing. A burst PD, a burst flak, heavy mauler, hypervelocity, and a concussion missile pod. As well as 1, 2, could have just counted that. Close support, Tianshuis. These have 4 light machines, going a little bit harder on the PD than their equals. A Xian and Shen Wing with expanded deck crew and ITU, as well as a hypervelocity driver and 2 concussion missile racks. Then we have our supporting fleet. Blackrock. We have the Why Do I Live Just to Suffer Convergence with a Circuit, Crate, and Taipan wing. Shredder, Argus, Gridfire Pod, 2 Gridfire racks, an Achilles rack, and a heavy SPL with expanded missile racks. Then we have a Boat of Great Booma Knight class with a pair of Fury torpedoes, 4 particle lances, 2 Hellbenders, 4 Gridfire MRMs, a burst cannon, a Micro Argus in the back, an ITU, and expanded missile racks. Lots of torpedoes going to be coming out of this. Boat of Great Booma indeed. Text is unreadable and a bit blurry. It's going to be a bit blurry. We are downscaling to 720 to try and keep the my computer from burning. Increase my quality. That would one, require me to restart the stream, and 2, oh, increase the view quality. Okay, I thought you were telling me to increase my quality. Anyways, back to the ships. We have a Wub Wub Raha Kurmaraja class. Oh no, sorry. Wub Wub Raja Kurmaraja. I get it now. That just clicked with me. It has 4 circuits. That is a lot of kinetic damage output. We have 2 extended gale cannons, a Pharaoh cannon, 6 Argus particle beams, 2 flat cannons, and 2 Gridfire racks. With an ITU. We have 3 You're Gonna Hate Me goblins with max capacitors, a shard gun, sunjet, ion cannon, and a long-range point defense laser. And let's reset these. Let's have a go at it. Now, hold on. I need a drink. Alright. High hopes for that Kurmaraja? I do. I do too. That is a lot of circuits. Oop. Come on, I'm trying to free look here, game.
Surge, please press the tilde button to reactivate your UI.
That's not working, Dizzy. Like, I'm pressing it, it's just going to the thing. To the attack screen. F11. No, it's not F11. It is not F11, guys. Hold on, who's been spamming me on Discord? Oh, that's the Fix for Wikis fleet. Which fight is this? This is the 4th fight, Vera. I am, in fact, pressing tilde. See? Tilde, F11. UI goes. Come on, guys. If you're gonna complain about something, you gotta give me a fix here. Is this the second fight? This is the 3rd, I believe. It might be the 3rd, but it's the second one we've actually done. So the fighters are meeting in the middle, Scootum's moving out to meet them. These Yillings, Johns, all this stuff. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of all these fighters. Cruisers exchanging beams. But it's mostly just a fighter no man land, except for this knight, which has allowed itself to get isolated off on the side. Sebastos does not want to get near that Kurmaraja. Kurmaraja activating its damper field, but it does not matter.
Please use right control to switch to drag cam and help us avoid motion sickness.
Oh, it's right control. I've been using right alt. Thank you guys for informing me that I am stupid. Pro streamer. Yes. Yes, this is what you guys are paying for. Well, actually, this is what some of you are paying for. Alright. Still a no man's land of fighters. Princeps releasing so many sabos into the goblins, but most of them don't seem to make it through. Oh, no, a few of them got through. Goblin has overloaded, taking a bunch of damage. That knight is way out in the side. Left and right mouse button to zoom. No, that's... No. Kurmaraja trying to pressure one of the Sebastoses. Those circuits doing a lot of work on the Sebastos' shields. Zoo just slinging maulers downrange into the Shurin. Knight not quite willing to push up. It needs to get doing something, though it is kind of holding the Hanzhong's attention. There's just a lot of standing off here, which probably suits the Tiandong fleet with the Zoo, as they have so many hypervelocities and maulers. The Sebastos, which has been maimed by the Kurmaraja, is moving up as the Kurmaraja disengages to rejoin the main fleet. The Knight just stringing itself out further and further with only a Goblin for support. More bomber runs being made. Shurin lets its shields down to take those quills onto the hull. Probably a wise call. They are kinetic, so they won't hit the shield very hard, or they won't hit the hull very hard. But the Shurin is high on flux now all the same, and still being hounded by all of this artillery fire. There just isn't any aggression being made, though, outside of these cruisers out on the flanks. The Sebastos, if it can get through this Shurin, is well positioned to go for the convergence, but I don't think the Sebastos can do it. With only tac lasers and its main gun, it doesn't have a lot of anti-shield. It did overload the Hujing with the Sabos, but has disengaged because of the circuits, which may get the kill. One of the Praetorians is engaging the Knight, which is almost dead. Oh my god.
I need to do this to satisfy the masses, but please try pressing left or right mouse while in the combat and not tactical. Also, I am sorry.
Pressing left or right mouse button goes to the tactical view. The Sebastos goes down to the circuits. Unsurprisingly, those circuits have been doing a lot of work punishing ships. And they are coming in for another run on the Shurins, but I don't think that the circuits by themselves can really do much to these Shurins. There needs to be something done about all of these Shurins. The Zoo needs to move in and get aggressive. The Kurmaraja seems to be taking that as an invitation to push up, but not quite far enough to... Oh, that Shurin very high on flux. If they just push it a little bit. Oh. This is almost frustrating to watch. This fighter no man's land is not even being pushed by the fighters. It's just beams and artillery. The Zoo is still putting pain on that Shurin with the ultra autocannon, but it needs to get those heavy maulers involved. One of the Praetorians has overloaded. I didn't even catch what hit that. Oh my god, the Shurin is down. The Shurin is down. There is another Praetorian out on the flank here. The remaining Shurin is getting maimed by this Zoo. No, it's taken its maulers out of angle. It no longer is putting down high explosive on that Shurin, and that's going to maybe buy the Shurin time to disengage, unless the Zoo pushes very hard. It's looking like I Stand with Tiandong has taken an advantage here. Losing that Shurin is a blow. They've lost a lot of their mass against a double capital fleet. And I'm not sure they have enough to beat down that zoo anymore unless they really go in on it. Certainly not with all these bombers floating around. Circuits still being a nuisance. The Hanzhong just not accomplishing anything. My god, that circuit! Disrespecting the Hanzhong. Zoo just slowly making its way downtown, broadsiding both Mauler batteries at the same time. One into fighters, one into the Shurin. Here comes a... Oh god, what even are these? Hujings, yes. A Hujing. Oh boy, we're back to standoff tactics. That was a beautiful period of action. The Knight has overloaded again, but there doesn't seem to be any follow-through. No, here come the concussion missiles. Can they connect in time? And the Knight is gone! That is one thorn removed from their flank. The Hujing is disengaging. Looks like it's pulling back to the zoo. I don't blame it. Without that Knight, it is a little bit out on its own. Sebastos still trying to be relevant, but it just doesn't have... It just doesn't have the damage output with only tac lasers. It has overloaded another Hujing with the Sabos. Oh. I guess I was observing a ship. Oh, there we go. I can just leave the tactical view. Okay. Oh man, the Imperium and Tiandong fleet has been pushed back to the map's edge. They have nowhere left to go. That zoo is still closing in. The Wuzhang is about to go. Oh god, here it goes. It is overloaded, it is dead. There is one of the Tianshuis trying to break free, as well as one of the Princeps. One of the Princeps has gotten into the back! As well as one of the Praetorians. Can they make it happen? The dream is alive for these two ships. They're going in on the Goblin, and that is time out. Everything is going reckless. That zoo is about to go smoked ham on everything. There are the Circuits. They have destroyed a Princeps. One of the Tianshuis is about to go destroyed by Mauler fire. That is two carriers down. Here comes the Praetorian and the other Princeps destroying a Hujing up here. The Hanzhong says the Wuzhang, I believe it is, up here fighting a Tianshui. The Sebastos still kicking, not sure what it wants to do. Tianshui has overloaded, as has the Hujing. They're just staring at each other at this stage. The Princeps still in it. Tianshui overloaded as well. Overloads everywhere. Oh my god. Circuits continuing to make punishing runs on the Imperium ships. Another Princeps down. The Tianshui is still there. It may get the kill on this Hujing, which would be excellent work for that. Oh no, the damper field is up from the Kurmaraja. Weapons fire has ceased. Another Tianshui overloaded. The Sebastos doesn't have any ammo left on its main gun to follow up. I don't think it does. And without any follow-up, it just won't be able to kill that thing. Hujing is about to go to the Sebastos. It is down. Tianshui is about to go somewhere. Which one is this? This is the one fighting the Wuzhang. Other Tianshui is getting bullied by the Sebastos. The Imperium fleet has done an excellent job of picking off the smaller assets, but it has not put a dent in this Zoo and Kurmaraja, and I don't think it has the firepower to, especially with the Tianshuis about to hit 0 CR. They are now in critical malfunction territory. The Wuzhang coming in. The Tianshui trying to hang on, but that Pharaoh cannon hits just too hard, and the Zoo is having its way with these Imperium ships. I don't think they stand a chance. They are not long for this world. The Tianshui goes to the Kurmaraja. And there goes the Sebastos to a cheeky Gale Cannon shot from the Kurmaraja, and only the Princeps remains. It is over, ladies and gentlemen. The Princeps gave it a good shot, as did all the other Imperium ships, but they are done. And so, this round goes to I stand with Tiandong. Those capital ships just had too much weight, and there wasn't enough firepower from the tac laser grids to beat down that low-tech capital ship or the Kurmaraja. Sent a few fleet files by Discord to fix the previous match. Alright, so I can plug those in, and we should be able to run that immediately if I'm not mistaken on how this works. Some people want me to reduce the chat bars. Okay. Where is my chat box? I can make them a little bit smaller. They won't be as legible, but hopefully they're a bit less obstructive. Alright, now let me plug these files in. Alright. Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I can just plug those in. And without restarting the game. Here we go! Yep, that fixes it. Alright, so back to Solinarius and the Wiki Fish. So we have for Danzy and Knight of Tigers. Let me actually, before I go through the ships, let me go ahead and see if any of them submitted a little blurb. Wait, we already went through this, and there was one for the Derpuppers we already read. And I know there's one for Wiki Fish. Let me grab that one. Unlike some wrestling federations, TWF is quite real and brutal. A thumbtack to the thumb joint can end careers. So, let's take a look at the Science Slap from Dancy, and absolutely not the same fleet as before, I swear, from Knight of Tigers. So, for the Science Slap, we have a Korakata Armored, which means it has these armored modules around it, very good for armor tanking. This means that it can take hull damage without any weapon disables. It's very resistant to EMP as well. It has 2 kinetic accelerators, an Orion artillery piece, anti-missile pod, Vulcan cannons, hardened shields, and ITU. Thank you for the host, Nemo. We have 2 of these explosive Korakatas, a standard Korakata, no armor modules on this one, with integrated point defense AI, hardened shields, a zone scorcher, kinetic accelerator, high explosive mortar, and a pair of hacking comlinks and a pair of nano needle miniguns. Very good for destroying fighter swarms, these will be. As the You Shall Not Fly variant might imply, we have 2 of these, and we have a Memes Made Me Do This Aramanthian Boar with 2 Singularity Torpedo Launchers, a pair of hacking comlinks, a kinetic accelerator, that's right, 2 more hacking comlinks, ECCM, and hardened shields. 2 Singularity Torpedoes is a bold play. Bold play, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. And then is definitely not the same fleet as last time. We have a pair of Frontline Wanderers with hybrid repeaters, double PD beamers, a light rail accelerator, dual Voltigeurs, and a blaze repeater. They have ITU as well. Then we have 1, 2, 3 I Like Drones Wanderers. These have a pair of hybrid repeaters, PD beamers, same deal all around, but with Hell Riders, heavy linears, and converted hangars for a Skink Wing. Skinks will be very good at shutting down any enemy fighters, but I don't think that their opposing team has any fighters. So they may end up a bit wasted. We have a Mystère Conveyor Command Carrier, a Normandy, with 2 light rail accelerators, a lightning gun, 2 mini blasters, built-in traceurs, a pair of ICAX wings, and a pair of Mystère wings, as well as a damsel conveyor with a Demoiselle strike bomber wing. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. Another pair of ICAXs, light rail accelerators, a heavy needler, and a pair of tactical shock beams. And up against them, the Durpuppers and Thumb Wrestling Federation. For the Durpuppers, we have the WoW Typhon class, safety overrides, hardened shields, 4 graviton blasters, 2 heavy burst lasers, 1 phase blaster, and a plasma cannon. As well as the Such High Tech Typhon. Same deal, more capacitors, less vents, and flare guns. Then we have a much fire in my laser Direwolf with a advanced optics ECM package, integrated targeting unit, graviton beam, 2 tac lasers, flare guns, and a tac lance. Then we have a so cutting edge Direwolf, auto pulse laser, graviton beam, 2 tac lasers, 2 flare guns, hardened shields, RFC, advanced optics, integrated targeting unit, and expanded magazines. Very punchy. We have a very teleport Direwolf with a downscaled heavy blaster in the large mount, expanded magazines, hardened shields, integrated targeting units, 3 burst PDs, one of them heavy, and 2 flare launchers. Lots of flares here. We have a no fighter spam please Direwolf with an ion beam, 2 burst PDs, a pair of flare guns, and a medium combat laser. Bold call for the spinal, advanced optics, hardened shields, and integrated targeting unit. Then for the Thumb Wrestling Federation, we have the Thumb Steroids Punisher class with gunnery control, integrated targeting unit, 2 proximity charge launchers, 2 heavy autocannons, 3 Vulcan cannons. There are 2 of these. We have a anti-slip tape kite with a Reliant machine gun, Salamander MRM, auxiliary thrusters, and accelerated shields. There are 3 of these. We have 2 thumbtack lashers. Wait a second. There you go. This is the this was his round 1 fleet, wasn't it? Because I'm looking at these lashers, and I know he sent in new lasher variants that had a bunch of machine guns. These do not. This is the Wikifish's Thumb Wrestling Federation. So are we gonna move on to another match while we still try and sort out Wikifish's fleet? I may have to go get a drink in a little bit here. Absolutely not the same fleet as before. No, that's on the other side, Donder. That's on the other side. This is definitely not the same one. I had a updated version of this fleet that had some new ships, but then that was under the DP limit severely. So Thago sent me a new fleet which I just plugged in, and it does not have any of those new ships. So I am trying to establish if this is in fact the correct fleet. What's the DP limit? The DP limit is 200 per fleet. Am I sure I'm thinking of this fleet and not the other low tech? I am sure, Aster. This is the right fleet. Play it. Alright. Back to the ships. So, the Thumbtack Lasher with a Harpoon, Reaper, Light Needler, and a Light Mortar auxiliary thrusters, reinforced bulkheads. Flux Coil Adjunct, because these are maxed on capacitors, as well as hardened shields. Tanky little things. We have 2 Thumb Rash Strikers, contender cannon, light autocannon, railgun, swarmer, atropos, and 2 annihilators. Very asymmetrical. Accelerated shields and aux thrusters. We have 3 eye gouger buffaloes, 3 harpoon racks, 1 salamander pod, ECM, nav relay, ECCM, and a converted hangar for mining pods. We have an atomic thumb wrencher Condor with a pylum launcher, expanded deck crew, and 2 perditions. Now, let's run it. Ooh, gosh. Aha, there we go. Converted hangar for mining pods. Sounds like a waste of OP. I am inclined to agree, but we will see. We will see how they do. So, the Korakatas moving up. Those are the anti-fighter ones. Direwolves coming out to meet them. There are just so many different direwolves here. It's hard to say how any of them will do. Hold on. Dragged free camp. There we go. That is going to kill me. Those Voltigears doing some good work. There go the Singularity Torpedoes, but there's not really any follow-through on them. Typhon's getting very aggressive on those Wanderers, as they should. One of the Strikers about to go down. Still, out come the Singularity Torpedoes. Point blank. No, sorry, that is not point blank. That's just the Korakata. Still more Singularity Torpedoes coming on that Typhon. It is so entangled in the Psi fleet now. It is completely disabled. It could be heavily punished. All it takes is for those Wanderers to come down on it. One of the Direwolves has teleported into the middle of the fleet, trying to keep the Typhon company. The other Typhon is vastly overextended. Direwolf is down after a Singularity Torpedo hits it. One of the Typhons still dead in the water. The other heavily fluxed out, but there is now some debris in its way. This is dragged cam. Wanderer taking a lot of damage. Still the Singularity Torpedoes. Oh my god. The Typhon has finally rejoined its own lines and has taken a beating for it. One of the armored Korakatas is taking a pounding, though, from the Thumb Wrestling Federation. That Typhon is getting bullied by those Mystères, and the other Typhon is not in a very good position. The Auto Pulse Laser Direwolf is still hanging on, much to everyone's relief, I think, since that is arguably one of the better Direwolves here. The first Typhon has gone down. I don't find it particularly shocking, though, that one of them has gone down. The anti-fighter Direwolf is not really doing its job, considering it is on the wrong side of the formation to deal with all those fighters. The other Typhon is down, isolated, and so far behind the lines amidst all those Wanderers. Ugh! And that leaves the Punishers as the bulk of what is going on with the lighting effects. Ramming so much, one of the Lashers has been crushed by the Singularity Torpedoes, unironically doing work. That Punisher is now encircled. I can't believe what I'm seeing. These Singularity Torpedoes are actually doing work. Getting all of these cruisers so entangled in the Psi fleet that the Wanderers are able to tear them apart. Striker's trying to get one of the Wanderers, and the Singularity Torpedo pulls it out of the line of fire. And there goes the Striker. It does not get the kill. There is still a Korakata out here on the flank. A kite just hanging out over here. Is there anything over here? Just the buffaloes. I don't know what this Korakata is doing. It is trying to chase down a kite. That Wanderer is hanging on by a thread, but it does look like it will escape. The Auto Pulse Laser Direwolf trying to fight, but by itself, I don't think it has enough to take on that Wanderer. There is a Reaper going into the Korakata. I don't think that's a good use of a Reaper. Oh gosh. There is the Singularity Torpedo coming out into the Striker, pulling the Korakata forward. Oh my, and here come the Damselflies and the Mystères, a little bit out of sequence there. I don't think that Punisher is long for this world. And things have finally quieted down. Still singularity torpedoes coming out, hitting that Condor like a sack of bricks. The auto pulse laser Direwolf is about to go to Skinks, which is not good. There it goes. And that is one of their better bruiser ships out for the count. That Condor's still alive somehow. Surely that's going to finish it off. No! It took the singularity torpedo on the shields, but it is now overloaded, and the remaining singularity torpedo will kill it. One of the kites has overloaded somewhere. There is not a lot of fighter-on-fighter trading here, because this fleet just does not have very many fighters to trade with these Icaxes. Punisher trying to trade with the Korakata, but it doesn't have any follow-through after all the kinetic damage. So the Damselflies will destroy it. Another Direwolf went down off-screen. There goes the other Condor. There is a Lasher over here being bullied by one of the anti-fighter Korakatas. These anti-fighter Korakatas were a little bit overkill against a fleet with so few fighters. There is the last Direwolf. And that leaves just the kites and the buffaloes. There goes the first buffalo. I think this is in the bag for the Korakatas. Those singularity torpedoes actually did so much work. So much work. I am genuinely kind of surprised that those singularity torpedoes were able to pull those hyper-aggressive Typhons so deep into the fleet where they got torn apart. There is a single Perdition with no ammo, but it cannot be targeted by anything for some reason. There is one of the kites down. Oh my god, this is so painful. Yes, it really is. They have already lost, but there are just two ships still hanging on. This Buffalo is almost out of CR. There it goes to the Orion. And then only the kite remained. Science Slap has indeed won. Quite convincingly too, I will say. Oh. What a match. But yes, I am very impressed by those singularity torpedoes. Pulling those Typhons, Direwolves, and Punishers into formations of cruisers. They very nearly shamed them, only losing a single Wanderer. And that round will go to Dancy and Knight of Tigers. Very convincingly. So, we've already done Comes and Minhir versus Astraltor and Blowthorn. So, our next round is Morsha and Avanisha against PB as Cheeseman and Roemk. So, drink water. Yes, right. Oh, man. So, for Morsha and Avanisha, we have Daka Intensifies and Temporal Circuit Abuse. Daka Intensifies, we have Daka Varders, a slew of hull mods, high-intensity lasers, storm blasters, light CEPCs, skinwalkers, and mega chain CEPCs. And then we have weapons are for Pussy's Bungalows, unchanged. 179 DP. Ooh. Ooh. You're right. Thago. Oh, Thago, one of our fleets is a little bit under on DP. Do you want me to just move on to the next round while you sort this out, Thago? $2 seconds? Alright. Well, while Thego is sorting this out, I am in fact going to go get another drink because I'm out. And we have only just started. Whoops. Will there be a recording of the stream? Yes. Fleet file sent. Alright. Cut. Paste, replace. Nope, that has not changed anything, Thego. We are still at 79 DP. Was player 32. No idea? Alright. This is just all that's in the file. Days, Hayes, and Derico. So we will move on to Kissamise and Johan versus Connortron and Bulbasaur Wizard. High Intensity Sabos and the Fun Police versus the Anvil Industries Pride Fleet and Never Good Enough. Sarisa got a DP buff, same with Arjuna. Ah! Excuse me. So, let's take a look at our fleets. Actually, no. Wait. I remember. I was going to get a run this match or the one before Thego. Wait, the one before with low DP. Okay. Well, let's get back to those ships and the bungalows. These are unchanged from round 1. Extreme modifications, heavy armor, Valakor hunters. You'd probably know the drill. And for Mayasura, we have a Drover Begone Arjuna class, large long-range PD lasers, the built-in Gandiva, some proxy charges, and a flak cannon. 2 Kopeshes, a Crow, and a Taki. We have a Fly Zapper Sarisa, some high-intensity lasers, heavy burst lasers, LRPD, a pair of harpoons, quartet of harpoons, Kopesh, and Crow. Just the 2 of them. Then we have a Facehugger Haze. It's got a series of Ibises, 4 single Sabos, 4 Tri-Fires, very bold. That weapon flex per second is bigly, because these Tri-Fires are very flux hungry. 2 Ion Cannons and 2 Banish Launchers. We have 2 Line Dazes with Twin Graves, Twin Glow Tusks, 4 Banishes, more Ibises, and of course their built-in Micro-Missile Clusters. These have heavy armor and resistant flux conduits to keep them in the fight longer. And then a KECM Derico with a Rexon V and 2 Ibises, as well as an integrated targeting unit. Now, as I said, I will be right back. I do need to get a drink before we do another match. Otherwise, I will destroy my throat. Okay. Right. So, let's run this battle. The 3 Myasuran carriers will hopefully hold together. That is quite an imposing formation of battle carriers there. And if we're lucky, the Dazes will support them. I don't know what this haze is going to do all by itself, considering, well, it's kind of the only ultra-aggressive ship in this fleet, and I don't think that Quad Tri-Fires is going to do all that well on its own. Here come the Bungalows and the Varders, aggressive as ever. Oh my. And here come missiles from the Skinwalkers, putting a little bit of early pressure on the haze. Here come the Valakors, absolutely swarming that haze, and it is down. It's done. Completely shut down by the Valakors. Ion damage, and the Varders will finish it off. Or not. Kopesh is going for one of the Bungalows. They may get it, but I don't think... God! FPS really suffering here. So many effects. Haze is going down. The Valakors have devoured it. Valakors moving on to one of the Dazes. Oh my. This is just going to be a turkey shoot, isn't it? I don't think that this fleet has any answer to these Valakors. The Varders slowly chewing through that Daze's armor. Imagine when we get a 40-something Valks fleet. Oh, it's gonna... The Valkyrie fleets are going to be awful. Stormblasters shutting down those missiles. They thought they could get one of the Bungalows, but no dice. FPS has returned now that the Valakors are not all using their system at once anymore. High-intensity lasers still doing a number on these Dazes. One of the Dazes is kind of just hanging out in front of the Arjuna, getting destroyed by the Varders, which are not using their Mega Chainsy EPCs like they probably should be. The other Daze being devoured by Valakors. And I don't think there's much to say here. This is a dead Daze. And so is this one. So that is the Diable fleet basically invalidated immediately. I don't think that this Dericho is going to be able to do anything of note. The high-intensity lasers continue to just destroy. Right, whew. Hold on, let me end the recording. We don't need to do that. We are back! We are gonna run that match again, and hopefully the Valakors won't destroy my PC again. Chat box needs to be sized down again? Oh, right, it's even bigger on this one. Yikes. There we go. And I think we'll move it up here, so it's even more out of the way. Valakor PC Hunter! Yeah, I don't think that that'll happen again if we run this again. If it happens again, well, then Nemo can do this. Because, if these manage to crash my PC, I don't know what's going on. And I'm going to have to take a few hours to try and figure that out. Hopefully I can sort it before next Friday, though. So anyways, let's get back into it. Same fleets. Well, they're from the other sides again, actually. I've done it again. They've swapped sides. So, the bungalows and the sluggish Varders. Were there more bungalows, actually? I know that the Ediths need to be on top. Oh my, that Perry, I think it is, already doing damage. It's a Joker, sorry. That Joker's already putting down fire. All the way downtown, slams one of the Valakors. Good hit. Here come the Valakors. The PC destruction is imminent. And the haze once again consumed by the Valakors. The game slowing to a crawl. Let's look somewhere else. We don't need to see this. We know what's happening. Oh boy. Nothing to see here. And there goes the haze. It made it a little bit further, but the Varders turned their attention to it, and that was the end of the matter. So, one of the Dazes now being consumed by the Valakors, but the Valakors are now a little bit isolated. The Arjuna and the Sarissas have a clean line of fire. The Varders, no, sorry. The Valakors have split into two swarms, one of them going after the Derrico, the other maiming that Daze with the help of the Skinwalkers. Derrico has been destroyed, swarm now moving on to the Sarissa. I don't think that Sarissa is along for this world. It has a better shield, but that's not going to matter against so much ion damage. Oh my god, the Kopechs have destroyed one of the bungalows. I didn't even catch that. Finally, a good barrage from the Kopechs, destroying one of the bungalows. Relieves a little bit of the Valakor pressure, but there's still just no ability to actually kill the Valakors. The burst PD is just bouncing off of their shields, and there are so many flares. The Arjuna trying desperately to hold this together, putting Gauss pressure on the Varders, but they do not care. They have too much shield strength, too much firepower. There goes one of the Sarissas. That is a Kopech wing off the field. Valakors moving on to the other Sarissa, which is already fluxed out from the Varder. Oh my, and the other squadron of Valakors, because of course we can't forget that the Valakors have split up into two death balls, and the other death ball is going for the Arjuna, again with assistance from the Varder. The Arjuna, not raising its shield to that high-intensity laser, is taking a bunch of damage on the nose, but it is a very beefy carrier. I think it believes it can handle it. The Valakors seem to be shifting their attention mostly to the Arjuna, absolutely locking it down with all that EMP damage. There just is no answer to these Valakors from the Myasurian fleet. The other Daze is fluxed out. It is not long for this world. There's still a few Valakors clinging to it, keeping it locked down. Absolutely brutal what these Varders have done to this fleet. They've not even used their Mega Chain CEPCs. they have just relied on the Varder, the Valacors, lots of V's here. They have simply relied on the Valacors to do all of the damage and followed up with their high intensities. And the Arjuna goes and takes the days with it, giving the Varders a 2-for-1 conclusion to the battle. But luckily, those Kopeshes have saved Sertaminis and Remember No Missile from a complete shame by killing one of the bungalows. The real winner here is my PC, though, because we are still live. So, next up, we have Kissamise and Johan versus Connortron and Bulbasaur Wizard, High Intensity Sabos, and the Fun Police versus the Anvil Industries Pride Fleet and Never Good Enough. So, let's take a look at the High Intensity Sabos. We have two of these Mastiffs. Trans Rights 2.0. Hell yes. So we have a High Intensity Laser, 4 Tactical Lasers, 2 Sabo Pods, 2 Flat Cannons, and a pair of Reapers with converted hangars for Oblonskis and expanded missile racks. Then we have 2 Riot Shield Mastiffs. These are the same thing, but with integrated targeting unit instead of capacitors. They have the same loadout otherwise. We have a Tear Gas Languistine. Several of these. 4 of these. They have the built-in Scorpion, a 11 Battle Platform Wing. That is a free thumper per. So that across 4 of them comes out to 8 thumpers and 8 light assault guns. They also have 2 burst PDs.
Trans rights.
Yes! Louder for those in the back. Thank you for the 200 bits, Nemo. They have an Antimatter Blaster, a Sabo Pod, and a single Reliant HMG. An expanded missile rack, hardened shields. These are going to be very, very stubborn.
Trans rights.
Okay, well, the text-to-speech didn't get the memo, but I appreciate the effort, Applesmith. Thank you. So we have Wander Over You Wanderers. How many of these? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Wander Over You Wanderers. Phase Lance, an MX phased autocannon, a single microbeamer, a Flechette Sea Whiz, a Bantam fighter drone, and a converted hangar. Very expensive drone for a converted hangar. 2 Reapers and a twin linear cannon with maximum vents. We have, oh my, a Reef and Beef carrier. 2 Reef and Beefs with a Marteau and 2 Brisances with extreme modifications to make it all fit. Those aren't Marteaus, those are Hell Riders with expanded missile racks, ECM package, and expanded deck crew. Then we have an Aigret ASS, Reef class, Hell Riders, Tac Lasers, Flak Discharger, again, extreme modifications, for Aigret Space Superiority Fighters. So that is 4 wings of Aigrets, 4 wings of Brisances, and let's see, 5 wings of Bantams, alongside 4 wings of Levins, and 4 wings of Oblonskis. Very fighter heavy. Up against them, the Anvil Industries Pride Fleet. We have the Yellow Snow Europe Terrace with a Pharaoh Cannon, 2 Tac Lasers, 2 Ion Torpedoes, and a Mining Laser with integrated targeting computer. A Germa 985 Europe Terrace class with 2 Sabos, 2 Railguns, a Gale Battery, and a Micro Argus. We have the old Rusty Milk Convergence with a Hellbender, Crate, and Taipan, and as many SPLs as he could fit on it. I respect that move. Oh gosh. Then we have the Shrek X Donkey getting crack shipping flashbacks. Typheus with 2 crates, 2 particle lances, 2 shredders. Shrek X Streamer not liking these flashbacks with 2 Circuits, 2 Particle Lances, 2 Shredders, same thing. We have 2 of those. We have the Curly Goblin with 2 Particle Lances, an INM, and another Particle Lance hiding in the back, where the PD usually goes. A Larry with 3 Burst PDs and a Mini Blaster. Interesting decision. A Mo Goblin with 4 Light Phase Lances. Very committed to those. And a Shrek is Life Scorpion with 2 Hyper Velocities, a Heavy Mauler, and a Dipteron with 2 Light SPLs, a Front Shield Conversion, and a Shredder. And remember, the Scorpion has Stinger Drones with 2 additional, which give it 2 additional Gale Cannons. Then we have the Rebel Maelstrom with a Frostwing, a Warlust Wing. Let's see, I see 2 Birchels. Oh, more Birchels. 4 Birchels, an Ibis, a Raptor, 5 Light Needlers, a Hephaestus, 2 Gloxes, and a Dual Flak, plus Micro Missiles. Nothing in the front hardpoints or the rear hardpoints. We have a Defender Screen Fractus, 1, 2, 3 of those, with a Thrush, triple Ibises, and Valiants. Oh boy. Excited for those. We have the Anything But Calm, with 2 Ibises, a Rexon, Hypervelocity, and 4 Banishes, Hardened Shields, and Extended Shields. We have 2 Distraction Vapors, with a Graviton and Ion Beam, as well as 2 Ibises, Hardened Subsystems. And then we have the Futile Attempt Derico with an Inferno Merv, Rexon 5, 2 Birchels, and an Ibis. And with all of that out of the way, let me see if they have submitted any descriptions for their fleets. Connortron is 39. My fleet's here for a good time, not a long time. Well, yeah, I can see that. There's a lot of goblins here. Bulbasaur Wizard is number 40. If the Maelstrom isn't at 80% Flux and 80% Hull, something is wrong. And then we have Kisa Mies and Johan. Kisa is number 8. It's not submitted anything. And Johan is number 25. Nothing for him. Alright, so reset the fleets. And let's go. All of these fighters coming out to play. I can't wait. Goblins probing the midline. A lot of the fleet is hanging back. Not surprising with so many carriers, though. Those SPLs may not be able to do a whole lot, or they may be MVPs. It's hard to tell at this point. What are the goblins already overloaded? Languistine going hard. Fighters are coming forward to punish it, but the opposing fighter screen is here to intercept them. Those Igrets going to town on the crates. Crates trying to punch through. They've almost got the Languistine down. If they can stay on it, they might be able to get the kill, but there just aren't enough of them left. The Valiants have been tied up by the fighters and are getting pelted by Sabos. There are also Sabos coming out onto the Maelstrom. Very high on Flux right now. A lot of it hard. About half of it even. SPL's still coming out. There's even fighting going on this side. One of the Languistines is caught out against the Stinger, but it is not locked in there with it. The Stinger is locked in there with the Languistine. Oh my. The Maelstrom has been completely disabled. All of its forward weapons are down except for the Hephaestus. The Scorpion has successfully disengaged and is arguably in better shape than the Languistine, all things considered. That said, it needs to finish pulling back and venting. That Vapor still in it. Still in it somehow. Brave little Vapor hanging on there. Maelstrom is a little bit intimidated, and that has left the Convergence on the front line. sitting in no man's land, surrounded by fighters. Those Valiants are providing cover, but it doesn't look like they're going to stick around in the face of all those missiles. The bombers have successfully sniped one of the Typhiuses. Brisance is already paying their dues. Reapers coming in on that convergence. It has overloaded. The remaining Reaper misses, but the convergence is overloaded in front of two high-intensity lasers. One of them is just ignoring it, but the Reapers are going for the practice, and they're going to get it. No! It's changed targets. It's not going to finish off the practice, but it's going to get the convergence, arguably the more important kill. Convergence goes down. Levens being destroyed as they try to approach the Maelstrom. That practice will live to disengage for now, unless those beams get it, which they might. There's Phantoms closing in on it. Can they finish the job? I don't think they have enough firepower. But if they continue to just hammer the practice unopposed, they may be able to pull it off. And there's fighting going on this side, too. The Germa, Eurypterus, and the Scorpion are engaging one of the Langoustines. They have destroyed it. The practice is down, but no, not the practice. The other practice has gone from full to dead. Vapor disengaging. That practice is providing its rear to the entire enemy fleet, but there's nobody in position to capitalize. Langoustines continuing to take punishment, but so far only one has actually been destroyed, I believe. Both fleets have kind of pulled back and are regrouping. However, the Pride fleet is in worse shape. The practice goes down. Finally, I didn't even catch to what. The Pride fleet is very strung out. Scorpion trying to be a hero. Don't be a hero, little Scorpion. It won't end well. No, you need to pull back. It has overloaded and it is gone. Oh no. The Eurypterus being annihilated by those Brisances, but the Maelstrom saves it from the worst of those neutron torpedoes. Sorry, electron torpedoes. That Langoustine, I don't know how that Langoustine is still alive. One micro missile could kill that thing, but none of them connect. But one of the Vapors has gone. There is so much fighting going on so many different fronts. Another practice is down. The Germa Eurypterus is not long for this world. And the zero hull Langoustine lives to disengage. That Mastiff is very overextended with a Maelstrom perfectly positioned to punish it. Both of the Goblins have just popped. Didn't even catch that. The Germa Eurypterus is going down to the Wanderers, and that leaves just the Derico and the Typhius cut off from the rest of the fleet by the Wanderers. One of the Langoustines finally died. I hope it was the one with no hull. The Maelstrom is surrounded, being punished by those Mastiffs. Reapers coming in, big play, slamming into the side of the Maelstrom, which explodes, taking the remaining Eurypterus with it. And the Mastiffs are going to clean this up. More electron torpedoes from the Brisances. Oh my god! Hitting the comm and sniping the Vapor after they missed the comm. The Typhius is all alone, and there it goes. And that leaves just a single pocket of ships over here. No, sorry, the Wanderers cleaned them up when we weren't looking. Complete defeat for the Anvil Industries Pride fleet, but the they avoided a complete shame by taking out two of the Langoustines. Oh my! Trans rights are now a thing again. Yes, it's okay. Trans rights won in the end. Technically, the Pride fleet didn't bring those today. And up next, we have Gal Paladin and Starass with the Torpedo Delivery Service and Blade Repairmen versus Nia and Night Chase with the very pretty ships indeed and Lords of Singularity. So, for the Torpedo Delivery Service, we have a Not a Drover Reef. We have, I believe, 5 of these. These have a Brisance, which, as we've just seen, are very good. And they are supported by a Skinkwing, which I don't think we've quite seen, are very good. Oh boy. Sorry, I'm kind of catching my breath after that last match. That was a ride. The Nada Drover Reefs have 3 Phase ADSs, a Marteau MLRM launcher. We're going to see that those are also very good. A light rail accelerator, and an expanded deck crew with max capacitors. Then we have 1, 2, 3 Lizard Tsunami Reef classes. These do not have the Brisances. Instead, they only have Skinks. In exchange, they have hardened shields and a phased autogun instead of a phased ADS. Then we have 2 Cheerleader light cargo rigs. These have an advanced nav relay, boosting the fleet of the reefs. As well as the one and only, the Chaticus Tyrannicus, the Ilmarinen Tyrant. With a Squall, 2 Sabos, 2 Harpoon Pods, Hypervelocity Railgun, 2 Mjolnirs, 2 Flak Cannons, 2 Vulcans, and 2 Light Machine Guns. With 2 Broadswords and integrated targeting unit, max vents, and a lot of capacitors. We saw in the last round that this is a very scary, very aggressive gun. This Tyrant is here to impose his will on the battlefield. Backing him up, he has 2 Wayland Intimidator classes with an Ion Beam, Thunder, 2 Railguns, 2 Vulcans, an Advanced Optics, and integrated targeting unit. Then there are 2 Amakuni Subjugator classes, 3 Railguns, 2 Hypervelocity Drivers, 2 Harpoons, 2 Annihilators, and 2 Light Dual Machine Guns, as well as the built-in Thermal Pulse Lance, which is a high explosive beam. Up against them, we have the very pretty ships indeed, with the YOLO boat Varder, carrying Nereids in a vain attempt to keep those skinks under control, 2 Wave Pulse Cannons, and 3 Narwhal Tusks, very committed to trying to goon out that Tyrant as soon as possible. Expanded magazines for the Mega Chain CEPC, and the Light CEPCs all around it. Gunnery Control AI to boost their effectiveness against fighters. Hardened shields to keep it alive. Integrated targeting unit, you know the drill. Stabilized shields so that the shields don't have to go down. And finally, some sabos tucked away on the bow. We have the At Least Mimirs Are Cool Mimir with a Tack Lance, 2 Wave Pulses, a medium CEPC, 2 more Narwhals, again, gooning out that Tyrant I see, as well as a smattering of light CEPCs, and of course the built-in Nidhogger Lance. I think that's how you pronounce it. Probably butchering that again. Oh boy. The Maybe It'll Do Something Cool Enlil with a Murdy, some CEPCs, safety overrides. Standard, well not standard, but simple fit. The Lion King Lions, heavy maulers, heavy autocannons, ace interceptors, siege cannon, no missiles, electron rifles, and Vulcans with heavy armor. The Watchman Osmond, tack lance, heavy autocannon, Vulcans, electron rifle, advanced optics. Queen of Hearts Victorious, 2 of these. Bullpups, plasma drivers, harpoons, heavy autocannon. An Ace of Hearts Caswell. This is probably going to be the big one against those fighters. It does have flak mines. 2 aces, harpoons, electron rifles, Vulcans, as well as expanded deck crew. And then we have the Deuce of Clubs, Edith. 2 monograms, a Vulcan, and integrated point defense AI. Against them, oh sorry, there is an Edith on the field now. So we have to play the Edith on the player side. So let's, ooh, I forgot to check and see if they had submitted anything for their fleets. So, Nia is number 24. Nope. And Night Chase is 28. Nope. Gal Paladin and Star Asp. Gal Paladin is 26, so that's a no, again. And Star Asp is... where are you at? Where's he hiding? He's hiding on this list somewhere. Hiding from me. I can just search him. $38! There he is. I'm just blind. And no, he has not submitted anything for this fleet. So, let's go into it. Alright. I do not think that this ARS fleet is going to have a very good time against all of these bombers. But the Osmonds may pull through. The Osmonds and their EMP mines, if they're able to go off, will be able to disable scores of skinks for the CEPCs to pick off. And the aces are probably about the best the ARS can hope to do. The cheerleaders are a little bit overextended, not sure what they're doing, but here come the fighters. There are the EMP mines, already disabling Brisences. But the Brisences are releasing missiles anyways. The first volley of Brisen's electron torpedoes has been negated. Not a single one made contact with the Osmond, I don't think. The Skinks, of course, were less obstructed. This Victoria is way overextended, and that Tyrant will punish it for its insolence. The cargo rig's pulling back a little bit. Victoria also disengaging. The Tyrant showing mercy. The Edith is just going to cling to these two capital ships and boost them up. Nidogger Lance misses, unfortunately, but the wave pulses are now opening fire on the subjugators. That will put some good pressure on those subjugators and hopefully start dealing armor damage soon. That Victoria has seen that it's in a bad spot and decided, you know what I need to do? I need to go harder. And it is not working. The Victoria is down, overextended, and alone. It has been killed by the Tyrant, which is now setting its sights on the Osmond. Osmond dropping an EMP mine in a strange position. May actually EMP itself with that one. Oh, PD still controlling those Brisences, but the Skinks just have the run of the battlefield. I don't think that there's anything that these ARS carriers can do. Osmond going down, it has definitely been punished by the Tyrant, and the Caswell is going to go with it. Out comes Flak Mines, destroying the Osmond with a Flak Mine. Oh my god! That Caswell has nothing personnel kitted. That Osmond. Barter just cannot push up. There's too many fighters maiming it. Cargo rig, very brave, coming in on the side. Know your place, cheerleader. This is not where you want to be. The other Victoria pushing up on the Tyrant to try and avenge its sister ship, but it is not going to work. It is going to continue to be punished by those Mjolnirs. Caswell narrowly escapes with its life, as does the Victoria. The Mimir has gone hard. It has a reef right in front of it, but it is too fluxed out to capitalize. Enlil behind it dies to the Skinks. Edith following the Mimir in may prove to be a mistake in hindsight. It is now somewhat exposed to all of those Skinks and the Subjugator pushing up on the Edith. Mimir giving its rear to the Tyrant. Bad idea, and the Edith goes down with the Mimir. Mimir pushed way too hard. It is now the Varder alone against the Tyrant. Tyrant coming to exact its tithe from that Varder. A pound of flesh. Caswell dying off screen to the Subjugator. Goes down. Osmond trying to fight the cargo rig. Varder coming apart at the seams here. Being driven back by those Skinks and the incessant hypervelocity fire from the Subjugators. There is so much artillery fire coming down on this Varder. The Lions is still hanging on back to back with the Varder. They're forming a pocket to make a last stand valiantly. Varder has overloaded. In comes the ion beams. The Skinks, no sign of the Brisences to capitalize, but I don't think it matters. The Marteaus, the hypervelocities, the Varder is gone, dealing a solid chunk of damage to the Lions with the explosion. The Osmond is now alone and overloaded. The Subjugators will likely take it down. Light cargo rig moving in, trying to get something done. I don't think it is capable of getting anything done, though. And the Lions is down to the fighter swarm. Wow. A complete shame, but that was a very, very difficult matchup. The deserters are a tough nut to crack. So that round goes to Gal Paladin and Star Asp. Up next we have Franco de Gala and Yulf against Deskup and Aster. So this is the first of our Valkyrie spam fleets. And Franco de Gala and Yulf, I checked these fleets before we started, and they have cooked up something very interesting to counter this. So let's take a look. We have a Zerf 901 Paragon, Tachyon Lances, Auto Pulses. This is a very standard Paragon fit. I don't think you need me to walk you through it. Pulse Lasers, Heavy Needlers, Sabos, Burst PD, Expanded Magazines. It's a very solid Paragon for dealing with a very solid fleet. We have an XSFU 99 Vortex with a pair of Zepho Swings, a bunch of TAC Lasers, and Ion Beams with hardened subsystems. Then we have 3 XI-05 Omens. If you saw the last tournament, you are very familiar with these hateful little ships. Well, if you're not, let me run you through them. They have an antimatter blaster because they will not realistically burn through its 20 rounds of ammunition in a single fight. They have an EMP emitter which does do hard flux. And finally, they have a mean left hook in a Reaper torpedo. To keep them alive through anything and everything, they have hardened shields, hardened subsystems, unstable injector, and resistant flux conduits with max capacitors. They have no flux generation of their own. They can only be overloaded by hard flux. They cannot be fluxed out. And they have a 0.45 flux efficiency. Then we have the Kill Mode Alistair, a ship that is here to kill as many fighters as physically possible, with 2 heavy plasma drivers, 3 hypervelocities, 2 flak cannons, 2 light plasma drivers, a Vulcan, and a single light machine gun with max capacitors and vents, as well as 2 partisan wings. We have 2 partisan Caswells with 4 Reliance, 3 light plasma drivers, 2 strings, and 2 partisans, as well as a PD Caswell with 2 Dukes, a pair of cones, and otherwise the same loadout. The PD has hardened shields, and the partisans have hardened subsystems. And then we have a backline Edith with a single burst PD, hardened subsystems, and as many injectors as they could squeeze into it. And then we have, oh boy. Pardon me while I collect myself, because this is going to be a doozy to go through. We have the Unlimited Fleet Works, and you know the rules, and so do I. For Unlimited Fleet Works, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 Akko Kotara classes with an Antimatter Blaster, 2 Excogitations, and 2 Raphaels with ECCM and expanded missile racks, as well as a single Satsuki Celica with 2 Phase Lances and a Lucidus for disrespecting stuff. Oh boy, and that is not all. There are 8 of these endless 8 Valkyries with Kopeshes, extreme modifications, converted hangars, and railguns. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23 Bamboo Leaf Rhapsody Valkyries with Thunders. Oh boy. So let's reset the fleets. And let's let them have at it. Ooh, popping. Oh god. Audio, please. So, if they're smart, the Tritachyon and ARS fleets will hang together. I do think that Alistair has a fighting chance against those Valkyries, but those Kataras are going to be bad. Oh no. Here come the missiles. Oh my god, they are so fast, crossing the field instantly, destroying the Caswell outright. Oh no, the Caswell is still hanging on. They have not quite dealt a killing blow to it. There are so many missiles coming out right now. PD is trying to keep up, but there is no keeping up with this many missiles. Caswell wisely falling back as Raphaels continue to try and chase it. I don't think the Alistair quite knows how to deal with all this. I don't know how I would deal with all this. Oh my god! Missiles coming out so fast. Paragon moving up, asserting its dominance though, as it should. The first Katara goes down, no losses for Tritachyon or ARS. Black Mines coming out into the Kataras, dealing good damage. Omen's taking damage, I don't even know where. Here come the Kopeshes, the Valkyries making themselves felt. Another Katara goes down. Oh, things are quieting down a little bit. The Kataras seem to have blown their load for the moment. It remains to be seen if they will reload. Another Katara goes down. They are trying to deal with the Dukes that are now pressuring them. Those Flak Mines actually doing good work against these frigates. The Kataras are settling into a standoff fight against two capital ships. Not what they want to do. The Paragon needs to pull back and vent. The Alistair is moving forward to pick up the slack. Omen down to 30% hull. I don't even know where that Omen is. Where is that Omen? Where is it? I don't even know. I can't even see it. No, it's way in the back there. I assume it's still getting hit by fighters. I think the Kataras have exhausted their Raphaels. They are being punished heartily by the Paragon. And the Alistair is free to act. With those triple hypervelocities and twin heavy plasma drivers, it will make mincemeat of fighters. Unfortunately, the missiles coming out of those Kopeshes are actually shielding them from the heavy plasma drivers. I didn't show the weapon groups, but the plasma drivers are mapped to different groups, so they will fire independently. And that may be a big deal against so many ships. What the Alistair needs to do is it needs to pull back a little bit and start focusing on these Kataras instead of engaging the Valkyries. The Paragon very wisely active venting. The Caswell still providing it with a range boost, but not to the Alistair anymore. The Alistair now leveraging its heavy plasma drivers into those Valkyries, and I don't think they'll be able to stand up to that kind of firepower for long. Putting some hypervelocity fire on the Kataras, good idea. Flak Mines still coming out onto these Kataras, dealing oodles of damage when they go off. The Kopeshes just haven't been relevant. The burst PD from the Paragon doing its job very well. Those Kataras, without their Raphaels, the Kataras just don't have any recourse. The Celica is hanging out. It's existing, but I don't think it's actually accomplishing anything by existing is the problem. And it takes its shields down, gets destroyed by the hypervelocities. Heavy plasma drivers not quite as been as impactful as I would hope they would be. But they are still doing a fair amount of work. One of the Omens has gone down, presumably to fighter spam. Yes, the Thunders claimed one of the Omens after it overextended. Kind of surprising that the Omen would go down to fighter spam. Paragon, Kopesh is trying to saturate that Paragon with rockets, but the Paragon is not having it. The capital ships need to push up. They need to pressure these Valkyries. But they just aren't. They're hanging back around the Edith. and it's just evolved into a standoff at this stage. I don't think the fighters will be able to attrition the Alistair and the Paragon, though. There's just too much point defense coming out of their fleet. I think this is going to go to timeout. There's the heavy plasma drivers punishing one of the Katoras for its existence. Duke's putting some damage into these Valkyries. The Valkyries are taking a fair deal of damage just from high-intensity lasers and tachyon lances, but they're not dealing any damage. The shields are too strong. The partisans are too strong. Another Katora goes down. Another Omen goes down off on the side, destroyed by the Katoras. The remaining contingent of Katoras, there is a pocket of about 4 of them pushing up on the fleet's flanks. If the Alistair is smart, it will turn to face them, but it's still focused on fighters. Turn around, Alistair. No, you don't want to vent. Okay. Was not punished for that venting, and now it is turning to face the Katoras. More flak mines coming out onto the Katoras, keeping those flak. Oh my god! So many flak mines from the Caswells, ironically doing more damage to more work to the Katoras than to the Thunders. With only 1 Omen left, those Thunders are now a serious threat. But I think the Partisans have done a good job of keeping them under control and will continue to do a good job of keeping them under control. Katora's trying to pressure the Alistair, but they just don't have the flux for it. Not against those triple hypervelocity drivers or the double heavy plasma drivers. They're taking so much damage, and now the Duke's coming in to finish them off. Another Katora down. Another Katora down. Just dropping like flies. One of the Valkyries has gone down, presumably to tachyon lances. There is action going on over here. I don't know if the Valkyries are getting too brave, or if the Paragon is finally pushing forward and they don't know where to fall back to. Another Valkyrie down. This may be the end for the Valkyrie spam. Deskup's fleet, 12% of the ARS fleet remaining, I believe. And, boy. No, sorry, Deskup is the Sylphon fleet. I apologize. Aster has 81% of his Valkyries remaining. But against them, Youth still has 100% of his fleet. And Franco de Gala has 91% of his fleet. I don't think there's any question about which way this is going to swing, especially once it gets to timeout. Because once those Valkyries are forced into a knife fight with that Alistair, they are going to be devoured. That Katora, brave Katora, still trying to pressure the flank as Valkyries fall left and right. Oh my! That is the last of the Katoras. Sylphon is completely removed from this fight. Some of the Valkyries hanging out way in the back. Caswell starting to suffer from CR, but I think this is in the bag. Those Raphaels just did not have any impact. They wasted so many Raphaels trying to squeeze between the Alistair and the Paragon to take out one of the Caswells, and so much of their ammunition was gone without dealing any damage. They should have put the Raphaels on one of the capital ships, but they did not. The PD grid held from the Paragon, completely invalidating those Kopeshes, and they have not been able to accomplish anything this entire fight. The Alistair is now free to go sicko mode on these Valkyries, which, personally, I hope it does. There is another Valkyrie gone, and there's just nothing left to do but push in and clean up. But I think we're going to be waiting to see... the timeout aggressiveness before anything really pushes in to finish this fight. Because these these Valkyries are just going to be too fearful of the combined might of 2 capital ships, and rightly so, in order to push in close enough for these capital ships to finish the job. Still putting out fire on the few Valkyries brave enough to push in. One of the Valkyries disabled, lost its engines, presumably to the Dukes, and it has been destroyed by the Tachyon Lances. Another one down to the Alistair. Edith is taking damage, getting bopped around between the Paragon and the Apogee, not having a fun time, straight up not having a good time. Wah! As the timeout goes, here comes the kill mode, boys. The Valkyries are going to filter in for the kill. And this is going to spell the end of the Valkyrie fleet. They have completely surrounded the capital ships, but it does not matter. They do not have enough damage output to overpower 2 capital ships, even with their Kopeshes. Another Valkyrie down. And that's all we're going to be seeing for the next few minutes, folks, is Valkyrie down, Valkyrie down, Valkyrie down. There is an Omen dying to something. I don't know to what. I assume it's bumped into something. The Valkyries, still, despite being on Reckless, are not willing to push up on these capital ships. And honestly, I do not blame them. These capital ships are going to town. Alistair is living up to its name. It has gone full kill mode this match, dispatching Valkyries and Kataras with impotence. Sorry, not impotence. With just prejudice. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but we'll go with prejudice. Heavy plasma drivers dealing massive impunity. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Dago. Impotence. This impotence describes the Valkyries here. Let's be real. Auto pulse also applicable, but for the Paragon. Ah, okay. You guys really thunder no. Sorry. I thought that was a joke. But back to the fighting. Siege cannon from the Alistair continuing to do work. Impunity, yes, Shadowy. We've impunity. Welcome back, Dizzy. You have missed the destruction of the Valkyries. They have received the punishment that they so rightly deserved. Completely annihilated. Not a shame. They did clean out the Omens. Those Kataras did a good job of cleaning out the Omens, but the Valkyries accomplished nothing. Completely invalidated by all of the burst PDs from the Paragon, and all of the partisans. Excellent, excellent work from Franco de Gala and Youth, countering a very cheesy and very strong fleet. Whew. Anyways, before we move on to the next match, I have been drinking too much water, and I need to step away for a moment. I will be right back. Alright, we are back. And next up we have the Cart and Vera with the Gladiators of the Ring and Homo sum humani nihil ami alienum oh god. Versus Archaon and Archangel Mark V with the Stormhawk Republic 7th Carrier Group and the ORA Redemption Arc Part 2 of 5. Now I know these guys have submitted some texts for their fleets, so allow me to find and read those out for you all. Number 4. Homo sum humani nihil ami alienum puto, or I am human and nothing human is alien to me, is a line from the play Hyoton Timoraminus, the Self-Tormentor, written by Terence, a Libyan slave in the Roman Republic. It was mentioned in one of Karl Marx's letters as a favorite quotation of his. Interesting. And we're going to save Cart for last, because I've already read that one. Not on stream, but we'll get to that in a second. Where's Archaon on here? There he is, 17. Nothing from Archaon, and Archangel has 34. Not submitted anything either. Okay, so that leaves the Cart, who has submitted the ORA Redemption Arc ends here. Oh god. Anyways, he explicitly requested the laugh, so there you go, Cart. There's your laugh. Ugh. Okay. Didn't go too hard into the laugh, because, oh boy, my voice is already going to be dead by the end of this stream. So let's take a look at the ships, folks. We have Cart's Gladiator, the Caesar class. This one actually using a package. Good stuff. We've got 2 heavy pulsars, some Custos Defenders, Vulcans, and Burst PDs, as well as some flak cannons for point defense. A Telem autocannon for a little bit of kinetic. Of course, the built-in Crucia Moors and 2 Onager Mervs. It has the armor package, which increases the amount of armor, doubling them, and reducing their effective armor strength for damage reduction by half, and reducing their maximum armor damage reduction to 70%. This means that this Caesar has a absolutely fad armor value of 4,200. Oh boy! On top of 1,800 hull. This ship has more armor than some cruisers have hull. Don't quote me on that. I don't actually know that off the top of my head. It also has heavy armor, adding another 400 points of armor. Good lord. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, sorry, 5. No, yeah, it is 6. Sorry, I can't count. Saturation Praetorians with Javelin, anti-ship missiles, converted hangars for Flamens, a Spinal Telem autocannon, 2 siege mortars, a Sagittarius, a particle gun, and another Custos Defender with maximum vents. Whew. Then we have 4 No I Am Spartacus Languistines from Vera with a Constrictor, integrated point defense, hardened shields, extended shields, an antimatter blaster, 2 light eximers, a scrapjet pod, and a contender cannon. Contender cannon with integrated point defense AI will be interesting, but I think they're more there for the eximers. Then we have 1, 2 Spartacus Langoustine classes with a heavy blaster, another scrapjet, dual flak, and some standard PD lasers. Otherwise identical. Whew. Flamens are in fact 8 OP, Sunders. I am sorry that that the stream is in 720p, so the text may not always be as legible as it could be. But we've already had technical issues once. Let's not push it. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Crixus hammers with a scrapjet missile pod, harpoon, and Scrap Nailer, Expanded Missile Racks, and ECCM. There are 4 Castus Wire Foxes with a Scrap Autocannon, another Scrap Jet Missile Pod, and a PD Laser. A lot of scrap in this fleet. Up against them, with the Stormhawk Republic, we have 3 E-War Perrys with a dual flak, 2 flare guns, and a burst PD, as well as unstable injector and hardened subsystems. Then we have 2 interdictor Perrys with a hypervelocity, 2 hammers, and a Vulcan. Oh boy. 4 Stingrays Cavaliers. These have a Myasurin Kopesh with an Obliterator rocket pod, as well as a Didimoy Mine Layer with an Influence Mine Layer, 3 Heavy Burst Layers because they have extreme modifications and they're going to need it, 2 Swarmers and a Flare Gun, as well as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Peltus, I believe. No, 6 Peltus. 6 Peltus with Taki Heavy Interceptor Drones, and a long-range point defense laser in the medium slot, and a tactical laser, again with extreme modifications, so that it can carry nav relays. Then we have the first we had to enlighten, now we have to judge Discernment, which has 6 flare guns, 3 pylums, 8 mini blaster arrays, as well as 8 choir emitters, and extreme modifications so that it can carry 4 wings of fervors, as well as 2 wings of wisdoms on top of the built-in wisdoms. It also has reinforced bulkheads for yet more hull, expanded deck crew, hardened shields, and max capacitors. Then we have 4 Jury Communion classes with a fervor gunship and 2 wisdom fighters, 2 salamanders, 2 mini blasters, expanded deck crews, and hardened subsystems. Near max capacitors. So let's reset the fleets and have a go at this. There are a lot of gunships in the ORA fleet. It will be interesting to see how they do against a Caesar with its shockburster. But they may be the right call against all these scrapjet missiles. One of the Perrys is already down, going in hard, and it does not pay. Here come the Takis. I don't think they're going to have any luck against all these Flamens. They are 2 alone. There's no support from the Wisdoms or Fervors. Another Perry is at risk of going down here. Mines coming out from the Didimoys. Scrapjets flying out, flying into the flares and being stopped cold by those flares. Here comes the Kopeshes and the Wisdoms swarming one of the Wire Foxes. Let's see if that Wire Fox can make it out of here. No, there are the Fervors. That Wire Fox is done for. Calling it now. 30% hull on the Wire Fox. Hammer went down somewhere. There is another no, sorry, that's not a Perry, that's a Peltus going down. Hammer is down. A lot of violence, a lot of fighters. Languistine inundated in fighters over here. These Fervors may track that Languistine down. Oh man. And aside from the Languistine being devoured by Fervors, it looks like the Myasurans have been relieved of pressure for the moment. It is just the fighters pressuring the Drunk Pirates. The burden is on the Gladiators and the Pirates to dispatch this wave of gunships so that they can get some breathing room. Another Hammer goes down. I didn't even see where. Where are these things going down? They're going down in the back, it looks like. That Languistine trying to escape the Fervors, but the Fervors are just too tanky. They will not be dissuaded from killing this ship. Is that another Hammer that went down? No, I don't think that was another Hammer that went down. Oh god. One of the Stingers pushing in on this Languistine and Scrap Fox. You know what? That's supposed to be Wire Fox, but Scrap Fox is more appropriate for its name. The Languistine finally goes down to the Fervors. They claim their kill, but here it is. The Caesar is in battle, squaring up against the Discernment. Peltist goes down. No fighters in range to challenge the Caesar. Only a single wreck to obscure its line of fire as it comes up on that Discernment. Communion pushing forward. Very bad idea. Stingray goes down to the Languistine. Communion right behind it is now hanging out in the breeze. The Communion has positioned itself between the Discernment and the Caesar, a very bad place to be. It's going to be broken in half by that Croakiamores. Another Stingray went down over here. Now that the initial wave of Fervors has gone down, the Imperium is just pushing in, and Mayasura does not have an answer to it. Nor does the ORA fleet. With so many extreme modifications and so little ship-to-ship firepower, they just have nothing they can do against these Imperium ships. Another Communion goes down. Oh man, the humanity! Those Praetorians are just methodically working their way through the ORA formation, picking apart the carriers, because they have no recourse. Oh god, the Caesar is pulling back a little bit. Some Fervors have swung around to try and pressure the Caesar, but I don't think it's going to matter. If any ship can beat off those Fervors, it will be the Caesar. The Discernment is being pressured by a Languistine. There is a Shockburster, wiping out an entire wave of Wisdoms. Languistine and Praetorian pressuring the Discernment, which is getting very high on flux. It is not going to have a fun time. It has no ability to disengage. It has no help coming from the rest of the fleet. All of the non-carriers in the fleet are dead. The Perries are all the way over here. The Stingers are also isolated. The last Communion has gone down. The Discernment is surrounded, being devoured by these Languistines and the Caesar. But the Caesar has not yet fired its main gun due to the Languistines in its way. Shockburster clearing out the Discernment's fighters, making sure that it cannot assert any sort of fighter dominance in the local area. Croakiamore charging. Solid hit into the port side of that Discernment. And there goes the Discernment. I think this is it. Oh, there was another Communion hiding out over here. With only the Communions, Stingrays, Peltis, and Perries left, I don't think there is enough to even destroy the Junk Pirates fleet. Never mind the Imperium fleet. Card's fleet is at 100%. Those gladiators carved through this fleet with terrifying efficiency. Beira is at 74% because of a few hammers dying. That initial wave of fighters did good work against the Junk Pirates, destroying a Languistine even, but there just weren't enough of them. Now the Stingers need only be cleared out, or the Stingrays have to be cleared out, as do the remaining frigates. The Perries may simply try and kite the Imperium fleets until timeout, which, ooh, wrong button. Let's speed it up. This is pretty much done. Ooh, God. The Languistine is dying. To what? The Stingrays? I think it rammed something. And then just this Perry. Then there was one. And that Perry is taking these guys for a ride. That was an excellent fight in the opening stages, with all of those fighters coming in that massive wave, crashing into the Junk Pirates. Put a lot of pressure on them very early, but they just couldn't be replaced fast enough to do anything to the Gladiator Imperium ships, which just followed in behind the Junk Pirates. after the fervors were already spent from their first wave, and they carved through the opposing fleet. Archaon and Archangel just had no long-term... Why am I scrolling down? Just had no long-term solution to that kind of ship-to-ship pressure. Whew. And next up, we have Paul Coffart and Night Knight against Daddy Pants and Ruben. So let's take a look at the Coffart Accord fleet. Plus, need a fleet name. Leading up the Coffart Accord, we have a elite victory, a very standard victory class with 4 harpoons, 2 heavy needlers, 4 hypervelocities, 2 hellbores, 2 Aegis Flax, and around 10 or 12 burst PD lasers. Don't care to count them right now. As well as an integrated targeting unit and maximum vents. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 escort monitors. Again, very standard extended shields for 360-degree shield arc with tactical lasers because they need something, and maximum vents to capitalize on the flux shunt. We have a Nada carrier Typheus class with a heavy SPL, 2 light shredders, and a light SPL. A Hellbender and Crate round out its loadout with expanded deck crews. 4 of these. We also have a Ratatatada Scorpion class with a extended Gale Cannon and 2 dual Shard Cannons. Again, remember, Stinger drones, 2 additional Gale Cannons, has Rage SRMs, and the BRDY Strike Suite. We have 2 Frigate Mantises with a pair of Rages, heavy SPLs, a Micro Argus, and 2 Shard Cannons, and then the bold play, the Morpheus. The not useful Morpheus with a strike suite and systems reinforcement, as well as 2 Shard Cannons. And up against them, we have the Space Safari and the One Trick Pony. The Space Safari being a number of First Blood and... oh god, 2 First Blood Buffalo Mark IIs. Oh god. Pardon me while I gather myself to get through another spam fleet. We have 2 First Blood Buffalo Mark IIs with 2 PD lasers, an Inferno Merv, 3 Atropos launchers, 2 Vulcans, heavy armor, boldly, and a converted hangar with talons. Then we have the Falcon P wannabe Buffalo Mark II. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the Falcon P wannabe Buffalo Mark IIs. These have 3 harpoons and a Sabo SRM pod with a single mini blaster and a Drake assault interceptor and a converted hangar, as well as expanded missile racks and a makeshift shield. Very tight fit this. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 free Hong Kong Buffalo Mark IIs with 2 harpoon racks, a Sabo rack, a Sabo pod, a Talon wing in the converted hangar, and a PD laser, mini blaster, Reliant HMG, and light machine gun. Really embracing the scrapper nature of the Buffaloes with this very haphazard loadout. And then finally, to round out the DP, we have the rear Wolf Guard Hound class with a single hypervelocity driver, a light mortar, extreme modifications, an automated repair unit to uselessly expend half of the extreme modifications in order to counteract the extreme modifications, as well as a nav relay and ECM package, and hardened subsystems. Then, rounding them out with the, oh boy, the Yukikazes, the Windigo Yukikazes. These are even more scrapper than those Buffaloes, with an Ion Pulsar, a Mini Blaster Array, Antimatter Blaster, IR Pulse, 2 Auto Pulses, 2 PD Lasers, Automated Repair Unit, Extreme Modifications, Integrated Targeting Unit, Hardened Shields, and a Front Shield Conversion for a 360-degree shield. Whew. Now, let's reset these. And, oh, I forgot to check and see if these guys submitted any descriptions. So, we've got Paul Coffart. It is number 18. That is a Neg, and need a fleet name is Nate. That is... Where are you at? 33. Oh, 33 and 17. To counter a potential heavy line, a ballistics-based fleet with superior maneuverability and flanking ability. Alright. A bold idea, but will it hold up to the Buffalo Stampede? And for Daddy Pants, that is... DP, that is number 13. Buffalo Together, Strong. Smiley face. Aww. And then Ruben. Synergy still for squares and scrubs. Alright, I dig it. I dig it. The file is labeled wrong. You didn't submit a text. Huh. Alright, so. Dragged free cam. Let's see if this Morpheus can make anything happen. Monday, it was very influential against all odds. But it remains to be seen if it can pull that off again. It's certainly up against a fleet where it could do well. There's going to be a lot of missiles coming at it, and it can leverage the big suck very well. Releasing some projectiles. Oh my, the arc light's firing away. One of the Buffaloes is already taking a little bit of damage. Fighters moving up to support them. Oh my god. Oh no! I've never seen that! That Morpheus just sucked up so many projectiles, it actually hurled the Buffaloes back to their own lines! Yukikaze pushing up, the other Yukikaze also skimmering up. They're getting very brave. I don't know if this fleet quite has an answer to these Yukikazes other than the Scorpion. And of course the victory. The Morpheus continuing to leverage that big suck to invalidate those missiles. That is a lot of harpoons, and they're coming in away from the Morpheus. The Morpheus is in the wrong position to stop this from destroying the Typhoeus. The Typhoeus is down. The Morpheus, what is the Morpheus doing? It's out on a flank. That's not where it wants to be. It wants to be in the middle, sucking up missiles and destroying the Buffaloes. Instead, it's tied down against one of the Yukikazes. These Yukikazes are continuing to anchor the line. The victory is losing to the Yukikaze. It has fluxed out. It cannot disengage. There is no help coming. And that Yukikaze is free to have its way with the now completely EMP'd victory. Scorpion is getting bullied by the Yukikaze. Morpheus still vainly trying to destroy the Yukikaze, but there's just nothing for it. It has full 360-degree shields. There's nothing that the Morpheus can do to that ship. The victory is dying alone and isolated. The monitors are not covering it. I don't think these monitors are on reckless. They're just not playing as aggressively as they need to. And the Buffaloes are just maiming this fleet unopposed without the Morpheus here to suck up those harpoons. Because here they come. Big F's in chat for this victory, and it is down. That is the backbone of this fleet shattered in one fell swoop. This Buffalo might actually go down. This is the Atropos Buffalo, and it goes down to the monitors. Surprisingly, of all things, the Morpheus is still all the way back here fighting a Yukikaze that it has no chance of defeating. Please end this madness. For the love of God. It's just the frigates now. I don't think they can pull this back. I would be amazed if they could pull this back. I don't know if the Yukikazes are even near their CR limit either. They haven't lost any yet. Another monitor goes down. A Buffalo dives, avoiding a complete shame. No, sorry, they had already lost a Buffalo previously. The Morpheus is now dying to the Yukikaze, and there it goes. That Yukikaze completely invalidated the Morpheus. Captured it with a lasso and held it where it wanted it for the entire fight, and it's just the monitors left now. And they will not have any recourse against all of these Sabos, which are still coming out. And it's just this Typheus now, I think. I think this is the last ship on the field. No, there is another monitor up here. There is another monitor up here. Now it's just the Typheus. And I don't think the Yukikazes will dilly-dally in killing this Typheus. I wanted to see it suck up all the missiles too. I cannot express my disappointment at that Morpheus just hanging out on the flank and not doing anything. The Hound and the shieldless Buffaloes were the only things that died. Does that count as a shame? The call for Accord was stampeded. Ugh. So disappointing. Up next, we have Zen and Hunt versus Karoy and SCC. I believe this is our last match of the day. If you guys want, we can go back and replay that last match as an exhibition. But we've got one more match to get through. We have Zen with Definitely Not Panthers and Hunts with 2 Diet Cokes and a large order of fries. This is our final Valkyrie spam fleet of the evening versus Karoy with red and SCC with blue. So let's take a look at our texts. We have for Zen, the Definitely Not Panthers, player 10 description, a couple of big fellas who really hate Strikecraft. My wrath got what it deserved. Alright. Alright. Definitely not Panthers, eh? Hunts with player 11 submitted, turning Starsector into a bullet hell game, bringing enough Macross Missile Massacre to make even Ichiro Itano blush. And with Karoy on red, that's player number 9. Don't look directly into the sun, and with blue on SCC, that is number 2. Pandemonium, you must rock out, and the roadie fleet of blue is here to make it happen. Alright. Blue needs to be on the player side because Edith. I am aware. So, let's take a look at our Pathers. These are some shockingly mid-tech Pathers. Very progressive, I see. They have a Perry escort from the Javanicus as a built-in wing, expanded missiles, gunnery control, integrated turret unit, and ECCM. 3 Tornado Hornets, a Locust SRM, 3 Devastators, 6 railguns, and 2 mini blasters. Then we have, oh god, one moment. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. 34 Valkyries. 34 Valkyries with a Vulcan cannon and 2 TAC lasers each. A converted hangar and a Kopesh. These are all the same variant. 34 Valkyries. Computer destroying power for 3DP. Now, let's take a look at Karoy and SCC's fleet. For the Pandemonium, we have, oh boy, we have the Siege Panda. Oh boy. The Chad Siege Panda with 4 Ulans, 7 Raptors, 6 Rexons, 10 Birchels, no Wanzers, and shield bypass, gunnery control, and advanced turret gyros. It is going to sit in the back and hammer anything that looks at it funny. With no shield, it has no need for capacitors, so it is all vents. And then there are 4 Orbiter Fractuses, with 2 Warlust Snipers, a Rexon 5, and 3 Ibises with expanded crew decks. Or expanded deck crews. Whew. No, not even mining pods. That panda knows what it's doing. Then we have 2 Standoff Hawks with their built-in Baby Hawk drones, 2 Bongos, 4 Rods, and 2 Hypervelocities with an upscaled shield core and integrated targeting unit. We have 2 Air Superiority Caswells with 2 Ace-Wings, 2 Rods, 3 Bongos, 2 Monograms, and 2 Reliance. Then we have 2 The Bad One Thatchers with a pair of Hypervelocities, Strings, and Bongos, as well as a Thunderwing in a converted hangar. The Edith, which has 2 Monograms, a Bongo, modulated injector, and unstable injector. As well as 2 Harassment Foxes with upscaled shield cores, which is an interesting call, considering the Fox's problem is less shield efficiency and more shield arc, but we will see how they do with 2 micro pellet guns and a light plasma driver. And with that all out of the way, let's begin. We will see what they are able to do to this Pandemonium. With so many Kopeshes and a shieldless Pandemonium, there is a legitimate concern that the Pandemonium could just be punished severely for its mere existence. But it is unlikely that they will be able to penetrate the sheer PD screen of the Panda. The Panda is moving forward very aggressively, opening fire on the Valkyries already. One of them about to go down, but it jukes the Ulan shots and survives to fight another day. That one, however, will be exploding. Shields could not protect it from the fury of that Ulan barrage. The Panda is now fluxed out and needs time to breathe before it can launch another volley. As predicted, though, the Raptors are completely shutting down these Kopeshes, simply unable to penetrate the thick screen of PD that the ship puts out. Unfortunately, the Birchels may keep it fluxed out and prevent it from readying the Ulans for another barrage. No! The Ulans are back, firing at the Javanicus, hitting it on hull. It has not lost armor, though. It is looking a little bit worse for wear, though. Can the Pandemonium follow up with more opportune shots into the Javanicus? It looks like it. That is hull damage, ladies and gentlemen. The Javanicus has now taken hull damage. Armor breached by the Ulan barrages. The sheer saturation of fighters and missiles is actually making it somewhat difficult for the Pandemonium to land its full Ulan barrages. This may prove to the Pather's advantage if they can prevent the Ulans from doing their full damage simply by saturating their line of fire with rockets. But there are no Kopeshes pushing in from that Javanicus, and it is taking a full salvo of Ulan damage. Good lord. The Hawks are simply standing off, as their name implies. But standoff is exactly where this fleet wants to be. Those Ulans will win in a standoff. The Javanicuses, I don't think, have the firepower to take this fleet on by themselves, and the Kopeshes are simply invalidated by the PD of the Pandemonium. I don't know what they're gonna do here. That Hawk is getting very bold, taking a bunch of hull damage for it. Those Kopeshes might kill it. Oh, excellent flak mine, taking out that wing of Kopeshes. One of the Fractuses has been destroyed by the Javanicus. We didn't even see that. That is a very big pickup. The Pathers are going to need every kill they can get if they're going to encircle and destroy this Panda. Hopefully they can pick up this Hawk soon rather than later. Oh, that flak mine. All of those missiles gone. Those Caswells doing good work. Javanicus about to go down to the Ulans. Is this going to kill it? Yes! One of the Javanici is down. That is half of the Pather's sheer tonnage removed from the field instantly. I don't think that even if they do finish off the rest of the fleet, that this remaining Javanicus can take on that Panda. That Panda is too terrifying of a duelist. Because it not only does the Javanicus have to beat through the Panda's armor, it has to get within range of the Panda. And I don't think it can do that anymore. Not without its sister ship. Hawk still clinging to existence with around 45% hull. Just an affront to all these Kopeshes trying to kill it, but they cannot penetrate the grid of PD from the Bongos, the Caswells, and well, not from this range. The Panda is not a factor from this range. It is just the Bongos and the Caswells. But that is the Hawk going down to the sheer volume of Kopeshes. Synchronized volleys of rockets overpowered its shields and forced an overload. That is one less cruiser that the Valkyries have to deal with. That Javanicus is overloaded, but the Panda is fluxed out. Come on, Panda, put out another volley. You can do it. I believe in you. You can do it. Here it comes, and that is the Javanicus down. I think that tears it. The Valkyries do not have a chance by themselves against this Panda. Those Javanici were the only thing stopping the Panda from ripping through these Valkyries. And so now it's just a matter of how long the Valkyries can stall out the inevitable, and if they can take anything with them. This is still not a shame for the Valkyries. They did dispatch the Hawk and one of the Fractuses. They have done damage. Speaking of doing damage, I am impressed that the Foxes are still around. But here comes the Panda. It knows what's going on. It is time to assert dominance. T-pose on the Valkyries. They have had it too good for too long. Whoa. Now it's just a matter of how long it'll take these Valkyries to be cleaned out. There is a lot of distance that the Pandemonium needs to cover to fully leverage its firepower on these Valkyries, but it also has a terrifying range. Absolutely terrifying. Oh, it's flickering into a rocket barrage, but the PD pulls through, stopping it dead. That Valkyrie is a little bit too far back for the Ulans to kill it. Active venting up from the Panda. It's getting ready for something big. Teleporting forward, going to destroy one of the Valkyries outright and immediately. 5 shots into that Valkyrie for no good reason, purely for disrespect. Another Valkyrie about to go down. No, it doesn't have the ammo to follow through. No, it doesn't have the flux to follow through. That Valkyrie will live to disengage. Ulan's still just slapping Valkyries from across the field. The Raptors just destroying these rocket barrages. Astounded at how little damage the Panda has taken thanks to these Raptors. Look at that. Completely consuming 2 Kopeshes worth of rockets in a second. Oh my god. The Panda, I agree, this Panda needs to be renamed a Death Star. Good lord. Panda still just pushing forward aggressively. It knows its place in this fight, and it knows that it cannot be stopped by these puny Valkyries. Oh no! The Valkyrie gave its side to the Panda and narrowly survived the resulting punishment. One of the Foxes has taken a little bit of damage. Panda now teleporting towards the Valkyries, looking to get some more kills. This Panda, I think, accounts for almost all of the kills from this fleet. I don't think anything has dealt any damage to enemy ships except the Panda. Absolutely dabbing on these Valkyries. F in the chat for these Valkyries. Actually, no, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. It's just Valkyries. That Panda had somehow built up hard flux. I guess from the Flicker Core. Because that Panda has been flickering very aggressively, trying to stay on top of these Valkyries as they disengage. They are absolutely helpless. I don't think I've ever seen a fleet so hard countered by a single ship. I've seen fleets hard countered by a single variant, but never a single ship. Just a singular hull has completely invalidated this entire Valkyrie fleet. Good lord. We make it into timeout just because there are so many Valkyries that have to be chewed through. And this may be necessary to get the other ships into the fighting. Oh no! The other Hawk! While we weren't looking, the Kopechs tried to sneak in a kill on the other Hawk, dealing a significant amount of damage, but they could not finish it off. They could not finish it off. The Caswell is down here on the side, but I don't think there's anything postured to do anything about it. The Hawk is a very appealing target to those Kopechs now, and I expect that this ring of Valkyries will continue to fling Kopechs at it to try and kill it. The Aces and Warlusts have simply concentrated around the Hawk to keep it safe, and I don't think those Kopechs can penetrate these interceptors. Another Fox is taking damage, but I don't know from what. Ah, from Kopechs. It went in on one of the Valkyries and was punished soundly for this. The Panda now swinging back around to avenge the damage that the Hawk has taken. Kopechs still trying to grab that Hawk kill. They can't make it happen. Oh gosh. They landed some hits, but they haven't quite finished the job. We are now in timeout, and things are about to get very bloody very quickly. Very quickly. This is where the fun begins. Hawks pushing forward. Thatchers pushing forward. There is a Fox way down here on its own. Caswell and a Fractus dueling Valkyries. Very interesting. Very interesting. The hypervelocities from the Thatchers and the Hawks making mincemeat of these Valkyries. One Valkyrie down. Fox has taken a hull breach. That was one of the intact Foxes, or rather the intact Fox, taking a hull breach from the attack lasers. Valkyries pushing in on the Edith. That could be a big play if they kill the Edith, actually. I don't think they can quite pull it off. No, the Dream is dead. They do not get to kill the Edith. The Edith disengages. The Panda retains its range boost on its Ulans. Valkyries still dropping like flies, but there are so many of them. What do you even do about this many Valkyries? I mean, obviously we've found the solution, but a timely one. Whew. Yes, I agree, Comes. The Edith has been a complete game changer for fighting carrier fleets. Especially for high mobility artillery vessels like the Panda. But the Valkyries simply couldn't do anything against all of this. All of this PD completely invalidating their fighters. Oh. Because the red and blue fleets, they completely dedicated a lot of hardware purely to shutting down the Kopeshes. And without the Kopeshes, the Javanikai just didn't have any follow-through. And it just so happened that countering the Kopeshes also countered the Javanikai. The Pathers and the midline fleets went in very hard on missile spam. And so against such a PD-heavy fleet, they crumpled. Not quite a proper shame, but they were nonetheless destroyed. And so that will go to Karoi and SCC. Now, I saw some people saying that they wanted to do an exhibition match of the last matchup with the Morpheus, and I am inclined to agree. I want to run a Morpheus rematch. We're going to run a Morpheus rematch, and we're going to see if that Morpheus can pull anything off. I don't need to run you boys through the fleets again. You know them, you love them. Maybe one of them. Yukikaze's pushing their way to the front, just bullies these ships. No respect for their fellow vessels. And there is the first Mantis. SPL's coming out. There's the Morpheus. Dead center. It's here. Oh god, the Mantis destroyed by those Yukikazes. Here comes fire from the Buffaloes, though. Fighters coming out. Garuda's coming out. Oh my. My, oh my. Those SPLs and Arclights are going to go to town from the Morpheus. It needs to get stuck in a little bit more, I think. But it is simply sitting next to the Victory, projecting artillery fire from its SPLs and Arclights, and I think that's what it wants to be doing right now in this scenario. This is about the most damage it can reasonably hope to put out in AI hands. There has not yet been any serious missile play from the Buffaloes, interestingly. Two of the Buffaloes pushing very aggressively. I believe these are the heavy armor ones. One of them is about to go, though it does sink an Atropos into the side of that Victory. The Morpheus is pulling back to the rear of the formation. I don't know what it's doing. It needs to be near the front, protecting that Victory, which is giving its rear to all of those Buffaloes. What are you doing? No! This could be another terrible upset for the Victory. I think its engines are out. It cannot turn around. There is no mercy, no salvation for this Victory. There goes the Buffalo that the Victory was initially trying to kill, and it is continually being locked down by EMP from Sabos. And the Morpheus is again tied down by a Yukikaze, this time way in the back of the formation. It will not be contributing to this fight. The Victory is down. The Stampede is on. Here come the Buffaloes. Here come the Yukikazes to finish the job. Good lord. And now it is just a pocket of monitors against the stampede of Buffaloes. F in the chat for this Morpheus. The Morpheus that couldn't. Wait, here's how the Morpheus could still win, guys. It's swinging around towards the Buffaloes. there could be some plays from the Morpheus. This is still the perfect kind of play for the Morpheus wants to fight. Oh no! Oh, it didn't suck any of them up! No suck was applied! Panda versus Buffaloes would be interesting to see. Do that if I have the time. I think this will be the last match of the day, because not only is my voice starting to go, I think I am starting to get a headache from all the shouting. We have been going for around 2.5 hours, maybe 3. Hard to tell since the first stream ended off so violently. There goes the Morpheus. And exploded. Oh. Unfortunate. The Morpheus could not swing that around, even with a rematch. But... oh. Stampede has claimed the day again. And we do not get to see that Morpheus flex on these Buffaloes. Phooey indeed. Phooey indeed. Oh gosh, that camera moves really fast. Now, we'll just wait for him to kill the monitors, because that's going to take a little while. And that's all of them. That's all she wrote. The fat lady sings. Again, not a shame, but they couldn't pull it off. Thank you all for joining me. We will be back on Monday on Nemo's channel for round 3. The winners of this round, and the losers actually, because this is a Swiss tournament. Not sure what that actually means, but you know, it's Swiss style, which means that. But the losers and the winners will be coming back again for more rounds on Monday. As Thago said, the new matches are up. Thank you, Nemo, for the sub gifts. Thank you to Null Ghost Bearing 7 and Ginger Dragon 87. Very generous. Very generous. But I will see you all Monday in Nemo's stream for round 3. Very excited to see how these fleets evolve for the next round. Because there are some big fleets in play here. The Panda is, I think, a favorite of everyone. The Caesar, also big favorite. I think that Franco de Gala and Youth have some interesting things up their sleeves with this Paragon and Alistair. I think Nia and Nightchase will probably have a much better time against a fleet that isn't Gal Paladin. That's another fleet to watch. Gal Paladin and Star Asp, the Tyrant and Reef combo is terrifying. And then we have, of course, Kisamise and Johan with, oh boy, these Mastiffs. But I've gone on long enough. Thank you all for joining me once more. I will see you all Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye!